Good morning, it's 6:30am and I'm loading up the car with skis and boards. We are going skiing today, or just today. A day trip to Glenshee for what's perhaps the best value day on snow in Western Europe. Why are all these people here at this time in the morning? Get out of my way, I want to go snowboarding. Glenshee is one of the 5 alpine ski centres in Scotland. It's located north of Perth on the A93. From Glasgow it's about 100 miles in 2.25 hours. From Edinburgh it's 85 miles in 2 hours, and it's only accessible by road. We've got our own kit with us, but if you need to hire skis, the place to go was this shop in Bridge of Cally. Unfortunately it looks like it's closed down. However, just further up the road, the Cabin Ski Hire gets lots of good reviews and their Facebook page is always pretty active with snow reports. One day hire of skis, boots and poles will set you back about £22. This is a famous Devil's Elbow. Until the road was rebuilt in the 1970s, it was a notorious double hairpin climb up the hill. The road still frequently gets blocked with snow, and it tops out as the UK's highest main road. The Cairnwell Pass is 2,200 feet above sea level. The ski centre car park begins at the watershed at the top of the Cairnwell Pass, and with good conditions at the weekend, it will be full by about 10am. So be prepared to either be turned away or have a half a mile hike to get to the lifts. One of the really cool things about Glenshee is you park your car in the snow and walk straight onto the slopes. There's no access chair or gondola. It's also handy for sledging, but if you're not buying a lift ticket, please contribute to the centre by paying £5 to park. So I'm Stewart, and today we're at Glenshee, Scotland's largest ski area, and bluebird conditions, we've knocked it off for once because I've been coming here since 1989 and it's never like this. It's always windy, snowing, or not snowing enough, rocks, but today we're in for a good day skiing. Can't wait. By the way, we're joined today by another YouTuber. This is David from Campervan Life, and he comes up here with his van and Amy and sleeps overnight in the car park before hitting the slopes early.
Remember to like and subscribe.
His channel is highly recommended viewing. David took the 360 footage that I've mixed in.
I'm too hot. I'm not used to it being this hot. This is a Claybokie poma. It's one of the beginner slopes because my son's trying for the first time to stay on a toe with a snowboard. I think he's done it. First time I came to Glenshee was 1989, I believe, a school trip, and we never left the wee slopes back there, but I was absolutely hooked. Came back here a few more times for school than my parents, and then me and my brother started coming up here every Sunday morning. And when I tell people, yeah, I go skiing, everybody thinks, oh, you're posh, you must have a lot of money. I have never been abroad skiing, which is really weird. I guess the traditional thing of people who go skiing is they spend thousands of pounds and they spend a week in the Alps, living in lodges or luxury and do the après ski. I day trip skiing. My equipment is second hand because I only get to do it maybe 5 times a year maximum. My boots, 40 quid. My skis, £80. I buy them from Hire, but you can also go to the Salvation Army, is a really good place for skis. So skiing for me is not an expensive sport. I've got rudimentary equipment, it does me. The ski pass here was £36. You leave at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're up here for 9:45. Whole day skiing, you get shipped off here at 4:30 when the sun goes down, back home for dinner. Not posh at all, but you never get conditions like the Alps, apart from today.
The worst thing about Glenshee, it's in the middle of nowhere. There's no supporting town with hotels or après ski. If you're expecting a European style resort, you'd be rather confused.
Called the Sunnyside for a reason. Hopefully that's my son still behind me on his snowboard. This is the first time, or today's the first day he's been on pomas on his snowboard, because we've normally got to Glencoe and go on chairlifts. So he's doing pretty well, I think. I'm very happy with this. Absolutely, it's just stunning, look at that. Watch, 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 watch. Watch this will hit you in the head. There we go. Fantastic! Well done! Just watch one of those don't smack you in the head.
Yeah, the guy down there really helped a lot.
He slowed down.
No, he triggered it for me. It was a lot easier.
Look at the poma king, that was very bumpy at the very bottom. I nearly came off at one of the bumps.
I actually kept losing my balance because when you were catching the snow,
doing really well for his toes. Something as a snowboarder I've never managed to do, and he's picked up within a day. So this is Tom Dearg, Tom something. Starting to get in the shade a wee bit. The conditions over here, it looks really nice, but it's a bit windswept, it's a bit hard if you fall on it, so it's fine for me because I'm not falling. But my son's wanting us to do, so we're going to head over to Sunnyside, which is by far my favourite slope at Glenshee. It's just amazing. I need to get those gloves that work on your phone because these are so old. These gloves are from before phones were invented.
What I've got is just a pair of that.
Are they?
So just take them off from behind there like Charles and Smithens.
Off-rated technology. So many times I've been here and it's just been a sheet of ice, rocks sticking up, grass poking through, narrow pistes. But once in a while, Scotland delivers. This is a Cairnwell T-bar, which I'm trying to go up on my own and do a piece to camera, so this might end up in disaster. Right, there's 5 ski resorts in Scotland, or maybe 4 depending on how you're going to count this. You've got Glenshee, this is the biggest, and not sure, I don't think it's the oldest, but it's got 22 lifts. Now if you look at Glenshee and you see only 11 or 12 lifts are open today, 12 are open, you might think that the area's only half full, but a lot of the lifts are like duplicates. Over here on my shoulder there is Cairnasda, and there's a Cairnasda T-bar, there's a Butchart's access toe, and there's the Butchart's toe. Now only 1 out of those 3 are running today, however you can still do all but 1 of the runs on that hill, so although it's only 1 out of 3, it's still about 90% of that hill is accessible. So having only 11, 12 toes open isn't a bad thing for Glenshee. Again, over the other side we've got Clunny 1, Clunny 2, they're just doubled up pomas, so if one's down you can still access that part of the hill. Glenshee is probably the one I've come to the most, but recently, because of my kids and one of them's into snowboarding, we've been going to Glencoe. Now Glencoe is much closer to my house, it's only 90 minutes away, so ideal for a day trip. Glencoe's also got great sledging facilities. The one issue with Glencoe is you have to get the chairlift up to get to the snow. Great thing about Glenshee, car park's down there. If you get cold, if you get hungry, you can nip down there, have a wee break, have some soup if you brought some with you. But Glencoe, used to hate it, now one of my favourite ski resorts. The other ones in Scotland, you've got Cairngorms, which is Aviemore. Never really been there, I've been 2-3 times in total. It's alright, it's just a bit too far away from me, it's about 3.5 hours to get there. The one that's just further up this road, further up the 93, is the Lecht. That's on the Cockbridge Tom and Tool Road. Great ski resort, but it just hasn't had the snow recently. The final ski resort is the Nevis Range, which is near Fort William, and for that you have to get a gondola up to the top of the hill. And the big problem with the Nevis Range is they just don't seem to be interested in skiers any longer. They have made a great business with what you call mountain bikers, getting the mountain bike up the gondola, up the hill. Oh, hang on. Yeah, just about came off the track there. The mountain bikers get the gondola up to the top of the hill, so they've really focused their business on the mountain bikers, which, to be fair, they could get 10 months out of the 12 months a year doing that, but it means now Scotland's had kind of unprecedented snow levels for the last wee while, but Nevis Range hasn't even opened for the season, and it's February. It's not a serious business anymore, but that's their business choice. Once we get to the top of the Cairnwell T-bar, we're going to take a right and we're going to go along the bunny run. So we're up the top of the Cairnwell now. I'm going to have to shout because it's quite windy up here. So that corrie over there, that's called Butchart's Corrie. That hill, that's called Cairnasda. Down that valley there, that's the A93 running to Braemar, Balmoral. Some white hills over there, don't know the name of those. Looking over back there, that's the Glasgow. Right, that is the Cairnwell itself. Down that valley there, that's the A93 running south towards Claybokie. That's the actual Glenshee down there. The ski area of Glenshee is actually quite gloomy. It's called Glenshee because they climb down there, and this is just some stunning scenery. Going ahead that way to the bunny run. a gully down here, and it acts a bit like a half pipe. It's full of snow. Snow there, should be there. So I'm having to walk along this part. Since the gully is full of snow, I'll head back to the Butchart's Piste and take that down to the bottom of the hill, down to the cafe. Oh, here we go. I'm sliding rather than walking. This is more what I'm used to. We've had it so good today. Or I could just ski through the glass. That works. Right, that's Butchart's access. We're going to continue down to the Claybokie, where hopefully my friends are waiting for me. When I say friends, it's people I've kind of forced to come with me. Just after 4 PM and the sun is starting to go down.
February is still early in the season and the lifts are starting to close. The legs are tired and everybody is ready for home. So I've billed this as the cheapest ski trip. Well, it is for me. I've spent £36 on a lift pass. I brought my own second-hand equipment, a flask of soup, sandwiches, and then a McDonald's on the way home. I've seen people on the internet day trip it from as far away as Manchester. And this is a Scottish conundrum. We know it's not really comparable to the European resorts, and if you live in the south of England, with the expense of travel and the cost of staying overnight somewhere, you're probably just as well driving to France as you are Glenshee, and in France, it will be a better experience. But, for me, it's all I've ever known. And for value, scenery, and a day trip just a couple of times a year, you can't beat it.